Hi, my name is Jerry Goss. I am an electrical and computer engineering major from Olin College of Engineering. I am currently at an NSF REU program at BIOS, which is the Bermuda Institute of Ocean Sciences. I am working on an NSF-funded grant on classifying zooplankton. Zooplankton are the most abundant creatures on Earth, and they're part of this huge ecosystem in the ocean that generally makes up over 50% of our oxygen. Bermuda is located in the Sargasso Sea, which is where we get our samples from, and there's just so many plankton species that scientists can't spend the necessary amount of time to classify all of them by hand. So my project, which is part of the greater NSF-funded zooplankton project, has a focus on using computer programming in order to classify these plankton species to make it easier for scientists to determine global and ecosystemic change in our environment. Now, the reason this is important is because plankton give us a lot of information about biology, about our environment, and the interactions between the two. The way they get these images for me to work with, they run a net through the ocean and they bring them on board and then they classify the plankton. And they use those images and produce a data set, they give it to me, and then I run those through a machine learning framework that learns how to identify those images and then classify them. The way I ended up in STEM is actually pretty interesting. So when I was about 10 years old, my heart failed. And then I went into a coma and I had a heart transplant and I met a bunch of doctors. And then I was like, wow, I would love to be a doctor. And then I did some job shadowings around doctors. And then I ended up at an engineering and medical-based high school in which I really wanted to go into medicine. But I discovered this robotics team, FRC, and I started to fall in love with electronics and how these kinds of machines and computers start to work. And I just followed that throughout, and now I'm in college studying electrical and computer engineering.